The town of Greyridge had always been quiet, too quiet, some would say, and for decades its silence was broken only by the wind that whistled through abandoned barns and hollow streets. But everything changed the night 15-year-old Clara Jennings ran into the police station barefoot, her face pale as moonlight and her hands trembling violently, whispering just one sentence that sent ice through every officer's veins: "He's still in the house." What followed became one of the most disturbing and speechless crimes the state had ever witnessed, the kind of case detectives still talk about in hushed voices, decades later. Clara had lived with her grandfather, Henry Jennings, a retired schoolteacher known for his calm demeanor and gentle smile. He baked cookies for neighborhood kids, fixed broken bicycles, and never missed a Sunday church service. No one, not even Clara, ever suspected that anything was wrong. But the night everything fell apart, Clara said she woke to a strange scratching sound coming from the attic. Thinking it was a raccoon, she climbed the old wooden steps with a flashlight, only to find something that didn't make sense: a chair in the center of the attic, rope on the floor, and a camera pointed at it. Before she could move, her grandfather's voice drifted from behind the boxes: "Clara, you weren't supposed to see this." She didn't recognize his tone. It was low, cold, and empty of any warmth she had ever known. When he stepped into the light, his face looked different, eyes too wide, smile too still, as if another person were wearing his skin. Clara bolted, Henry sprinting behind her, his footsteps heavy and desperate. She managed to escape through the back door and ran until her legs gave out. But when the police arrived at the house, Henry was gone. What they did find chilled even the most hardened officers. In the basement, a room hidden behind a false wall, filled with photos, diaries, and sketches of people from town, people who had mysteriously gone missing over the past 20 years. No one imagined Henry, the friendly schoolteacher, had been secretly keeping track of them. Even worse, investigators discovered a journal that revealed something far more horrifying. Henry wrote about the visitor, a voice he claimed had spoken to him for years, telling him certain people were not meant to stay. The journal described how he followed chosen individuals, watched them for days, and eventually sent them away. The entries were written in neat cursive that grew shakier and more frantic as the years went on. As the search for Henry intensified, multiple witnesses reported seeing a thin, older man wandering the woods at night. A week later, a hiker found a small tent deep in the forest. Inside was Henry's jacket, his glasses, and a notebook with just 4 words scribbled repeatedly: "She wasn't meant to see." The investigation took a darker turn when forensic experts analyzed fingerprints found in the attic and basement. They belonged not only to Henry but also to several missing persons, confirming that they had been inside the house at some point. One fingerprint, however, belonged to someone who had never been reported missing: Clara's mother, who had supposedly died in a car accident when Clara was only 3. This revelation shattered Clara, who had always believed her mother died instantly. But now investigators suspected Henry may have been involved in her disappearance. Detectives revisited Henry's diaries and found disturbing entries from the year Clara's mother vanished. One line stood out: "I love her too much to let her leave with the child. It has to be done." The implication was horrifying: Henry had not only taken the lives of strangers but possibly even his own daughter. Clara, unable to process the truth, was taken into protective custody and placed with a foster family while the investigation continued. For weeks, police combed through forests, abandoned cabins, and old mines, but Henry remained one step ahead. Then, a breakthrough arrived from an unlikely source: a gas station surveillance camera. A man resembling Henry had been recorded purchasing supplies, food, rope, and a shovel. In the footage, Henry looked different: disheveled, eyes sunken, hands shaking uncontrollably. One officer whispered, "He looks like he's becoming what he wrote about." Search teams followed the trail to an old hunting lodge 20 miles from town. The building was silent, windows shattered, door ajar. Inside they found carvings on the walls, names of missing people, etched in shaky lines. In the center was a message written in red paint: "You're too late." But they weren't. Behind the lodge, in the woods, they found Henry's makeshift camp. And there he was, sitting on a fallen log, head bowed, hands clasped as if in prayer. When officers approached, Henry slowly looked up, his eyes filled not with fear but with a haunting emptiness. "She saw the truth," he whispered. "Now everything must end." He didn't resist arrest. Back at the station, Henry confessed to everything in fragmented sentences, talking about the visitor, about voices, about being chosen to remove those who didn't belong. But when asked about Clara's mother, he fell silent. His lawyer claimed Henry suffered from severe untreated psychosis, but Clara believed something much darker had consumed him long before his mind broke. The town, once quiet and peaceful, now lived in constant fear. Parents locked doors, neighbors whispered, and people questioned how a beloved teacher could hide so many secrets for so long. Clara struggled to rebuild her life, haunted by what she saw, what she learned, and the unimaginable truth about the man who raised her. The case remained one of the most disturbing in state history, one that left detectives sleepless, a town shaken, and a girl forever changed. Even now, years later, people in Greyridge claim that when the wind blows just right through the trees near the old Jennings house, you can hear Henry's chilling whisper carried with it, "She wasn't meant to see."